Yep. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube. As you can see, today's video is going to be it's a little difficult for me. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm being very open. I'm sharing a very intimate situation that I still get a little bit emotional about, so forgive me. As you can see, I got my little box of tissues here just in case I start crying, because you know I'm a little emotional. I'm a little crybaby. I'm not even gonna lie, especially when it comes to my heart and my feelings. So I got that. But before I even get into any of that, y'all already know what I'm gonna ask you to do. Go ahead and like, subscribe, leave a comment if you hate it, dislike this video. Tell me why, at least. If you're gonna be a fucking hater and dislike my video, at least tell me why. But anyways, yeah, like, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and turn on the notifications as well, along with following my Instagram and my Twitter at ThaiBaby. That is ThaiBaby. Yeah, so without further ado, we're just gonna get right into this video. And let me throw this disclaimer out there now. This is not a bashing my ex video. If that's what y'all came here for, y'all gotta go, because this is not what this is about. I just want to throw that out there. This is not a bash my ex video. He's a great guy. He's an awesome guy. I still got mad love for him, but he just is not the guy for me, and I just wasn't the woman for him. So with that being said, there's there's no bad blood. So I'm not even, no, I just want to throw that out there so y'all know this is not a bash my ex type of video. That's not even how I get down. I'm extremely grateful for him and for the lessons that I have learned in this video, or in this in the time that I spent with him. So there's that. Also, side note, I'm really sorry if this side of my video is like super bright and this is a little dim and the lighting's a little funky, because it's about 5 o'clock here in Vegas and the sun is starting to go down. So like I have this bright window right here, so the lighting's a little funky, so sorry about that. But yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it. Like I said, excuse me if I start to get emotional, because this is something that I do get emotional about still. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest and open and transparent. It's still quite fresh for me, so sometimes I still get a little emotional about it. So anyways, I guess I'll just start. I'll give like a little briefing on the relationship, just so you guys can kind of get an understanding of that. For those of you who don't know, I was engaged. I was in a relationship with my ex for about 3 years, actually 3 years exactly. We broke up the day after our 3-year anniversary. How fucking shitty. But yeah, 3 years exactly. I was engaged for about, I don't remember if it was like 2 years or 1.5 years. It had to be between 1.5 years and 2 years that we were engaged. We were long distance. He lived in the South and I am here on the West Coast. We met here in Vegas. So yeah, the relationship was great while it lasted. We had our ups, we had our downs. We had some really low points. We had some really high points, like every other relationship does. But yeah, so I'm not gonna give specific reasons as to what broke us up. I will just say, from my perspective, it was kind of like, it was inevitable. It was going to happen. I didn't want it to happen. One thing I can say about me, and I'm sure all of my exes, I only have 2 exes, but I'm sure both of them can say the same thing. I don't believe in walking away. And that's probably one of my biggest downfalls. When it comes to love, when it comes to a relationship, I feel like if I love you and you love me, we gonna sit here and we gonna work it out. It's a great mindset to have, but unfortunately, sometimes love is not enough. And that's something that I have learned in this healing process, is that sometimes it's not enough. And unfortunately, in this case, it wasn't enough. But I can't even really say exactly what happened that caused our relationship to end. I can say though, I felt it coming before it even happened. I felt it for about a month. And it was just one of those things where it was like, the man that I love, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. It was one of those things where it was like, I'm watching my relationship fall. I'm watching what we built, what I built, what he built. I'm watching it crumble, and it was like as if I was a little kid and I was trying to hold sand in my hands. If you ever tried to hold sand in your hand, you know it's going to spill between the cracks and you're going to have it going everywhere. And I just felt like a little kid. I felt like a little girl trying to hold on to something that I was losing grip on. But it was one of those things where I couldn't stop it, and I fought for it. I fought for that relationship until I could not fight anymore. I fought for the relationship even after we had broken up and it was solidified that we were done. I still fought for it. I fought for it until I reached a point where it was like, sis, you're fighting by yourself. He's not fighting. He's done. So you got to be done. And that was one of the hardest things for me just to kind of deal with, was knowing that the person that I loved was willing to walk away from me. I think for me that was the hardest thing about the breakup, was just grasping the fact that the person who said they loved me and the person who said they wanted to spend the rest of their life with me was able to walk away. And in hindsight, even though I still get emotional about it, even though I still sometimes might tear up about it, I'm grateful that he did. I'm grateful that we broke up when we did, because it started a whole new chapter in my life that I am so excited about. And I'll get into that a little later, but I kind of want to give you guys like the timeline and the sequence of how things happened and, you know, just my healing process, because I think that this can help somebody else. And honestly, that's why I'm sharing this. I'm not sharing this because I want attention or I want you guys to see me get emotional on camera. Like, no, fuck that. I have on fake lashes and these bitches poke you when they lift. So no, I'm not trying to sit up here and be, you know, oh, crybaby. But I think that my story can help somebody else. So I wrote down notes because I didn't want to forget anything, because sometimes when I just start going and I just start talking, I just be rambling, and I'm trying to get better at that. I don't want to make this an hour video like my other two videos, so I made little notes. So sorry if I look over here. I'm just trying to, you know, keep it in context. That's it. So when we first broke up, I cried every day collectively for about 3 months. I cried a month before our relationship ended because, like I said, I could feel it. And it literally was like one day, there was one situation that happened, and I won't speak about the situation because I know it's going to make him sound like a bad person, and I don't want this to sound like that, so I'm not going to speak about the exact situation. But there was a situation that happened where I verbally told him I needed him emotionally, and he just wasn't available. And at that moment, I knew, like, this is it. He's checked out. He has checked out mentally. He has checked out emotionally. Like, and we were still together. This was about a month before we officially ended things. So, like, literally from that day, I cried every day for 3 months straight. 1 month into the end of our relationship, and then 2 months after we officially cut things off. I lost weight, I lost sleep, I lost appetite, I lost motivation. I was lost. Like, I literally was lost. And it was really hard for me. And I was just sad. I was sad, and you know, everybody goes through like a bunch of different emotions when they go through a breakup. you're sad, you're angry, you're in denial, you probably resent this person, you might have a moment of happiness, you might have a moment of like, fuck this nigga or fuck that bitch. Sorry, excuse my language, but like you might have one of those moments where you're like, fuck this person. But you literally go through every single emotion. Like I did. And I know everybody else does when they go through a breakup. But for me, like in the beginning, I just was really, really sad. And like I said, I cried all the time. I tried reasoning with him. I tried being angry. I tried just backing off. I tried just persistency. At one point, it was even, I'm a little embarrassed. Actually, no, I'm not embarrassed to say this shit. At one point, I was even like, no, we're not breaking up, because we made a commitment that we were going to be with each other until the end, and I take that commitment seriously, so no, we're not. I'm going to give you some space right now, but I'm going to come and see you during this time period. And this was back in like July. And I was like, I'm going to give you X amount of time, and then I'm going to come see you, and we're going to decide what we're going to do from there. And it just was bad. I was back and forth. I was, one minute I was like crying and like, oh my God, no, this can't be it. And the next minute I was like, no, fuck him, this is it, I'm done with him. And then the next minute it was like, okay, well, let me try to talk to him, let me try to reason with him. And then as soon as he said something I didn't like, I pulled back and I was like, no, fuck this, I don't want to deal with him. And it was a constant back and forth, and I was confused, and I was angry. And then of course I was still sad, but sometime after the sadness kind of sizzled down a little bit, I became angry. I was hot. I was pissed, because I felt like, how dare you walk away from me after every time that I stayed? Every time where I could have walked away, where I had every right to wipe my hands with this man, I stayed, and I got pissed. But I will say this, with me being angry, it came with a blessing, because when I got pissed was when I was like, no, hold the fuck up. Hold on, baby girl. You look like what? You look like this, and you do what? And you do what for him? And you do what for yourself? And you know this about yourself? Why the fuck are you allowing someone to make you feel this way? Why are you begging someone to stay in your life? Why are you asking this person to want to be with you? And I was like, and I don't know, someone just was like, I got me a chip on my shoulder. Like, no, I don't have to do that. I don't have to beg anybody, not to toot my own horn, but I know for damn sure I am a good person. I know I look good. I know I am a good person. I know I have a good heart. And it just was like, you don't let someone do this to you. Sorry, I get so like, I get so riled up. Like, you don't let someone treat you this way. So what I did was, because I was still, even though I still had these like angry moments where I was kind of feeling myself like, nah, fuck this, I still had some hurt where I was like, I can't believe it's over. And I still had this like, do I go back? Do I try? Because I know every relationship is going to have their ups and downs, and I know every relationship is going to go through whatever they go through, but do I try? So about a month and a half into us breaking up, I said, okay, I'm going to do the only thing I know how to do when I don't know what to do, which is pray. And I fasted. And this was my first time ever really fasting. Like, little backstory, I grew up in the church. I'm not like a preacher's kid, but I did grow up in the church. I went to church every Sunday as a kid, went to Bible study, children's, children's church, all that. Bible camp, like, I was there. So I fasted. I did the Daniel's fast, which is a 21-day fast, and you don't have anything but fruits, vegetables, and like water basically. And I think you like eat after 4. And I prayed, and I was like, God, I need you to move in my life. I need you to talk to me. I need you to tell me what it is I need to do, because I can't keep feeling like this. Like, I can't keep crying. I can't keep being sad. I can't keep being in turmoil within myself. Like, I just cannot do this. Like, I didn't know what to do. So I prayed, and I told myself, I'm not gonna let this sink me into depression. Because when I tell you, my first heartbreak that I ever experienced, that was the worst. It took me 2 years, y'all. 2 years to get my shit together. Like, I was sad for 2 years, and it was to a point where it wasn't even like I was sad over the dude that I lost. It was like I was sad because I didn't even know what it felt like to be happy again. Like, I just was so used to being sad that I was sad, and like, I was depressed. And so I knew, okay, you might be sad about this one. This one might hurt even worse than the first one, but one thing you're not going to do, you are not going to allow yourself to get sucked back in that depression, because I fought hard as hell to get myself out of that. So within that, at my lowest low, see, like, there's a bright side to this, which is why I say I'm thankful that we did it, that we broke up in the first place. When I was at the lowest low, like, I mean, I couldn't get any lower, I said, you know what? I'm going to do the things that I like to do. I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on my career. I'm going to do what I know I was called to do. So I went into my studio and I started taking pictures. And it felt good the first time. I was like, okay, like, you know, wiping my little tears, like, okay, I'm okay. I mean, I was still a little hurt, still a little sad, still fresh into my fast, so like, nothing was moving yet, but I started to pick up the pieces that I felt I had lost. I started to build myself up again. I started to think back to, like, who were you before you met this person? What were your goals before you met this person? What were your dreams and aspirations before you met this person? Get back to her. Like, relationships are great. Love is great. All that is great. But who were you before all of this? And I don't know. It just kind of sparked like a fire within me that was like, okay, sis, he's focusing on him. Clearly, he's gonna do what he feels is best for him. Why don't you do the same? This fool's over here focusing on his career. As far as I'm concerned, let me not even go there. He's focusing on him. He's focusing on the things that he needs to do. You need to do the same. So, side note, we were planning on moving in together by the end of this year. So, I don't even know if he knew, but I had started saving money back in, like, March when it is September now. I started saving money back in March when we first said, okay, we're going to move in together. So I had quite a bit of money saved up. So what I did was I took the money that I had initially had saved for us moving together, and I spent it on studio equipment, because I said I wanted to start a YouTube. That was one thing that I had always wanted to do, and I just kind of put it off because I'm like, you know, I don't really have the finances right now. I mean, I do, but I'm saving because I'm about to start moving, and, you know, I want to make sure that we're comfortable, and just, I saved it, but not for this. So I took that money and I bought all my studio equipment, and I said, okay, that felt good. That's the first step. Then I was like, I don't know video editing. I don't know how to do any of this. So I took the time to teach myself video editing. I mean, I'm not the best, but I got the hang of it. Like, I got majority of it. And I started taking pictures again, and I started going back in my studio and being creative. I am a creative. I love to create. Like, I just love art. I like visuals. I like concepts. I like photography. I love fashion. Duh. I like looking good. So I went back to my drawing board. I started putting together different outfits and putting together different looks and just starting different projects for myself, and it started to feel good. It, like, I felt I was at peace. And, like, don't get me wrong, I still had my moments where I missed him and I thought about the relationship and I thought, like, is there still hope? But then I just came to a place of acceptance. And when I tell you, there is freedom in accepting. There is freedom in acceptance. When I finally got to a point where I accepted, okay, you and this person are no longer together, it was like, it stung a little bit, but it was like the world had been just taken off of my back. Like, I accepted it. And when I accepted it was when I really, really started to heal. And along with healing, I did some self-reflecting because, like I said, this wasn't solely on him. The breakup wasn't solely because of him. Like, he played a big part in it, and I played a big part in it. We both played equal amounts of, what caused us to go downhill. So, in reflecting, I realized where I went wrong. And a couple of the things, which I'm sure he'd agree, one thing that I am guilty of, and I have prayed about and I have asked God to remove this from me, from my bank, for when I do have a husband or the next person that comes into my life, I am ready for them. I have asked God to remove this, but one thing that I was guilty of, whenever I got too pissed off or whenever things didn't go how I thought they needed to go, or just whenever I reached a certain level of like I'm done, I would say I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be with you. Of course, I would come back like an hour later after I had calmed down and got out of my emotions. I never ever really wanted to break up, but that was my defense mechanism. Like, you know what? We're done. I don't want to do this anymore. And then I would calm down, be okay, and be like, I'm sorry. I never really wanted to break up in the first place. That was one thing that I was guilty of. And I wish, sometimes I think, if I wouldn't have done that, would we still be together today? But then I think, and I'm like, but I remind myself of the things that he did, and I'm like, no, it was bound to happen because of the things that he did that I didn't like, the things that I wasn't going to accept. Another thing that I was guilty of, which again, I pray and I ask God, God, take this out of my bank because I want to be ready for the person that you bring when the time is right for me. But another thing, my mouth, your girl, you know how they say there is life and death in the power of the tongue? That is true, because I can speak so much life into you. I can speak life into someone who is rotting to death. I will motivate you, tell you how great you are. You got this, and I will speak words of wisdom. But at the same time, baby, if you piss me off, I will, my mouth, whoo, it's crazy. It's I get real disrespectful, and that's not even something that I'm proud of. I don't even know. I don't know how he dealt with it for that long. I don't know how the other ex before him dealt with it for as long as we were together, but it's bad. And I say things, and I will be honest, it takes a lot for me to get there because I am aware of how crazy my mouth can be, and I don't like to let myself get there. But when I do get there, the things that I say, it's pretty fucked up. And it's nothing that I'm proud of. So that was another thing where I'm like, wow, you know what, Ty, you did that. That's where you were wrong, and you were toxic, and that's where you brought the toxicity into the relationship. And I asked God to heal me from that. I asked God that wherever that started from, wherever that rooted from, take that out, because that's not something that I want to be. That's not someone who I aspire to be. Another thing that this eats me up, honestly, I get a little emotional thinking about it. I didn't know how to be there for him emotionally sometimes, because for me, even though I'm very emotional, I like things presented to me straight, black and white, and so there's no gray area, so there's no misunderstandings. I like things given to me straight from the hip, no kind of, don't baby me. So when he was going through things, that was kind of the approach that I took. Like, okay, well, you know what? This is what you're going through, but you got to get yourself up out of this. Like, you can't allow this to affect you. And I was very like, And sometimes, like, not everybody is like that. Some people need to be like cuddled. Some people need to be, you know, cared for a little differently or talked to a little more gentle. And I wasn't like that for him. And if you ever watch this video, I don't know if you will, I doubt it, but if you ever do, I want you to know I'm sorry. I want you to know I'm really sorry for not handling your feelings how you wanted them to be handled. And I hope that the next person that comes into your life, she will do a better job than I did. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I had to take a little break because what I wasn't going to do was sit up on this film right here and start crying, because it's not what I'm here for. It's not what I'm here to do. But anyways, it sucked. Like, it sucked. It really, really, really did suck. But I'm very grateful that things ended when they did, because now, like, I am so tunnel vision on my career. Like, I don't see anything else. Like, I don't want to date. I don't want to waste anybody's time or my own. Like, I'm not going out. I'm not spending money on bullshit like plane tickets, or like, you know, I will say your girl has saved quite a bit of money now that I'm single, because I don't have to like share it with anybody or spend it on anybody else. But I'm just focused. Like, I feel like I am kind of back to the person who I was before I was in a relationship, who I was before I was in a relationship. I was really career driven. Like, I was so focused, it was kind of ridiculous. Like, really, like, that's just kind of what I'm doing now. Like, I'm just focusing on myself. I'm focusing on my career. Like, I spend more time with my family. I spend more time by myself. Honestly, like, I'm learning to be my own best friend. Like, when something good happens, like, instead of, oh, I gotta call him, I want to tell him, I congratulate myself. Like, I spend a lot of time reading my Bible. I talk to God a lot because I don't got nobody else to talk to, but, you know, it's my dog. So, yeah, it's just, you gotta change your perspective sometimes. Like, I went from thinking, oh my God, this is so bad, this is terrible, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I miss him, I this, that, and the other. But then I had to think, like, okay, one thing that helped me was, like, if you would have stayed, you would not have started your YouTube. And that makes me like, okay, it's a good thing that we broke up. And then I think, if you would have stayed, you would not have the finances to do the things that you're doing now. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. Like, it's a good thing that we broke up. Another thing was, you know, if you would have stayed, you would not have been as career driven as you are now. And I'm like, yeah, like, a lot of my free time, actually all my free time, just goes towards me. Like, it's funny because when we first broke up, not when we first broke up, but like probably like 2 months into us breaking up, I caught myself trying to date, and it wasn't happening for me. But one thing that there was a guy who I was talking to, and he was like, oh, you're just always so busy. Like, you know, every time I try to make plans with you, you're just so busy. And that was like a sign for me. I heard God tell me, like, girl, you're not supposed to be dating right now. You are supposed to be focusing on you. You are supposed to be taking all the free time you have and either putting it towards me, God, or towards yourself. So he was right. Like, I didn't have time. I still don't have time to date. And I know that when the time is right, God is gonna send me someone. God's gonna send me my man. We're gonna start us a family. We're gonna bust down together. And that's just, you know, it's gonna be great. And I want to end this video by saying, like, I'm thankful for my ex because there were a lot of things that he taught me. There was a lot of good that came out of the relationship. Believe it or not, he is one of the people who, I was always confident, but he kind of like boosted that even more. And I mean, hell, he boosted it to now it's like, nigga, joke's on you. But no, anyways, like, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful for his family. I'm thankful for the time that we spent together. But I'm even more thankful that it's over, because now, like, I really, really do get to just focus on myself. So I hope this video helped somebody, anybody out there who is going through a breakup, who is sad or hurt and they feel like they've lost somebody. I need you guys to change your perspective. I need you to not see it as you lost this, but I need you to see it as this is a potential gain for you. This is a new chapter of your life that you get to start over. You get to start this chapter however you want to start it. So I need you guys to change your perspective if you are out here going through a breakup. I tried not to make this video as long as the other one. I don't know how long it is, but just in case it is super long, thank you guys for sitting here listening to me talk about my breakup and, you know, how I'm healing, and sorry about getting emotional and tearing up a little bit. But again, one more time before I go, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. If you dislike it, at least tell me why you don't like it, so I can get some kind of feedback, like, oh, I don't, you talk too much, or nobody wants to hear about him, fuck him. Let me know. Also, follow me on Twitter, follow me on my Instagram at ThaiBaby, that is ThaiBaby, and I will see you guys next Tuesday, because that's the goal, to get videos out every Tuesday. Yeah, thank you guys, see you guys, love you guys.